Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is the second in a series of financial literacy videos. Today I'm going to discuss money disorders. Before we get started, if you're not already subscribed, please click the subscribe and notification button so that you can be notified as I post the rest of the series. Let's jump right in. According to Psychology Today, money disorders are persistent patterns of self-destructive and self-limiting financial behaviors. Money has the ability to make the intangible tangible. For example, your emotions. You cannot physically touch an emotion such as sadness, boredom, low self-esteem, depression. The list goes on and on. But if you spend and buy and use money in any form to replace those emotions that you cannot put your finger on with things, you now express yourself with something tangible, something you can feel. Trying to replace things with how you are feeling. So to understand how you use money, you have to get in touch with your feelings. Now I know it sounds so cliche, but it's true. Let me state, I am by no means an expert on this subject. Just like any disorders, this has been and continues to be studied and researched by professionals, including doctors and universities around the world. But I do know enough to tell you our relationship with money can have a physical effect on our body because certain chemicals such as dopamine and cortisol can be released into the body from the brain depending on the stress level involved with your interaction with money. In other words, it can be like a high to some people and a suppressant to others. If you want to know more about what I'm covering today, I recommend you watch the various videos on YouTube or the articles discussing this topic. But after you learn it, it will all make sense. Until you understand and grasp how our behaviors determine how we spend money, you can become a highly educated multimillionaire and still end up broke, depressed, and stressed out as it relates to your finances. I held a front row seat back in the 90s watching some professional athletes make millions and blow it all. They had no investments of substance whatsoever. It was just constant spending. Sometimes having a lot of money and not knowing how to manage it creates worse problems in the end because when the income stops rolling in at that level, the expenses are still there. You have to manage your emotions before you can manage your money. When people come into large sums of money unexpectedly, they need to understand who they are as a person before they had money. There's a famous quote that says, "Money does not change you. It just shines a light on who you already are." If you mismanage money when you did not have any, chances are you're going to mismanage money when you do have it, unless you seek some type of help. And that could be from a financial expert or a trusted family member or friend. Some folks actually need professional help from someone that specializes in disorders. And I'm not being funny when I say that. For some people, money disorders are no different than being an alcoholic or drug addict. There are a multitude of money disorders. I'm going to just focus on the common ones that will wreak havoc on your financial plan or budget. Whatever word makes you feel comfortable. I don't mind the word budget, but some people do. It sounds negative in their mind. So if you're one of those people, use the word spending plan. Now let me speak briefly about some money disorders that do not result in a lack of financial security, like underspending and risk aversion, but you can be losing potential income or can be paralyzed in your personal life because of particular fears. I will talk more about those when I discuss investing. There's a book titled Mind Over Money, Overcoming the Money Disorders That Threaten Our Financial Health. I would recommend you get that if you want to learn this subject in detail. Let me give a disclaimer. I'm not affiliated with the authors or any company. When I read something or come across something, I just like to share it. Now remember, a disorder is a continuous pattern. We all have overspent. We all have hidden bags once in a while. We all have ignored a bill because we just didn't want to think about it at the time. It is only a problem if this is a continuous pattern or it's a habit. So let's talk about 5 common money disorders. Number 1, financial denial. Number 2, overspending, compulsive buying. Number 3, financial dishonesty. Number 4, unreasonable financial risk-taking. And number 5, compulsive hoarding. Let's start with the first one, financial denial. You usually minimize the actual debt in your mind to reduce the anxiety or shame of what's really going on. Because if you focus on everything that was owed, you will be totally overwhelmed, so you just ignore it. You don't open statements. You don't open the mail. Sometimes you throw the mail away without even opening it. You avoid discussing finances with your partner. You just rather the bills go away. And then you also find ways to rationalize why you're ignoring it. Next is overspending or compulsive buying. It's exactly what it says. You know in your heart of hearts, you are going over what you should be spending, but you just can't stop yourself. The internet is the worst thing an impulsive, out-of-control spender has at their fingertips. The internet to a compulsive spender is like someone with a drinking problem living in a liquor store. Often overspenders will feel guilty and return the items, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. Next is financial dishonesty. That's hiding purchases, hiding debt, not being truthful about your spending to anyone that is affected by your spending. It could be a partner, a parent, a sibling, and even a child if that child is assisting you financially. If you're not doing anything wrong, you have to ask yourself, why do you feel the need to hide it? And if you say, because I don't want to hear their mouth, it is still a disconnect in the communication about you feeling you should be able to buy what you want. Perhaps the other person feels the money could be spent in some other way, like towards a goal. If you're spending money and then have to turn around and ask someone else to bail you out, you can't afford the things you're spending money on, and you have a problem. Next is unreasonable financial risk-taking. This could be anything from get-rich-quick schemes, compulsive gambling, or anything using money that you think can increase your bank account quickly. Compulsive gamblers do win sometimes because of the law of average. The more they play, the better their odds. But they also lose and continue to chase that high received from winning. As far as get-rich-quick schemes, if it was that easy, don't you think folks like Warren Buffett and other financial geniuses would be doing it? If it sounds too good, you know the rest of the saying. Now, this includes the multitude of pyramid schemes that are surfacing right now. I don't know if it's due to the pandemic, but I saw one the other day, invest $500 and quickly get back $65,000. Come on, people. The only people that make money off of these scams, because that's exactly what it is the ones that started it. It is called a pyramid for a reason. There is not much room at the top. Lastly, compulsive hoarding. You may be saying, isn't this the same as overspending? Well, overspenders and compulsive buyers, they do not have a problem giving things away. In fact, they often shop for other people. With hoarding, there's never enough stuff of whatever the individual chooses to hoard, and they cannot let go of the stuff they've accumulated. We've all seen the show Hoarders. It is one of those shows where it's usually disgusting, but you can't turn away. Well, those folks have a sickness and they need professional help. But the show rarely talks about the cost of the things these people are buying. It also often costs them relationships with family and friends. So how do you change your behavior when it comes to money? Number one, admit that you have a problem and that you may be powerless to change it on your own. Number two, have faith that you can change. Believe in yourself. You can change. Number three, hold yourself accountable and come up with a plan. Seek help if necessary. Number four, ask yourself daily, how does my behavior make me feel? How does it really make me feel? And then number five, take one day at a time. It's okay if you mess up. You can start by taking a financial health assessment. I have included the link below in the comments to some free ones that I found. I look for the ones that don't require you to enter your email address and have the results sent to you. You can look for some yourself, but if you find one that asks for an email, they're usually trying to sell you something or get you to sign up for their services. Now, some of you may need, like I said, professional help, and there is nothing wrong with that. You need to do whatever it takes to change any destructive behavior that is wreaking havoc on your financial situation. You have to recognize you have to recognize it for what it is and forgive yourself. What's great about this is you don't have to wait until you have perfect credit or are totally debt-free to feel the weight of stress becoming lighter and lighter as you monitor and work a plan. When I screwed up years ago and realized the mistakes I made, it felt good to know I was headed in the right direction. Now, it took me a while, but I knew I was on the right track. Just like the majority of you, my financial plan had to go through an adjustment because of this pandemic. I was permanently laid off. That required me to take a serious look at my budget. And just like a business, I had to make some adjustments because the revenue that was coming in changed. If you are listening to this video, you are on the right track, so be proud of yourself. If you're not struggling in this area and you know someone who is, please share this video and have them subscribe to my channel. This is going to do it for this video. In the next video, I will talk about spending and saving. Thank you for watching. This is Sheila from She Keeping It Real. Bye.